Hi everyone. So right now we're gonna go through the content again. Um, I'm gonna focus on the three main points that I usually see when it comes to the practice questions. Then I'm gonna go through that. So I'm gonna try my best to commit for the next, I think it's 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. But it's 2 weeks, but I'm gonna try to put in as much as I can right now. So please bear with me. I hope that you can tag along on this journey for me and practicing so that when I go write my test, I'm able to pass it. Okay, cool. Okay, so first thing, I'm using this app. It's the K53 app. It's the K53 app with the South African flag on it, right? So with that, it kind of comes with a cheat sheet. It comes with the guided K53 exam, official K53 exam, handwritten, sequential, and all the other stuff. But for now, we're gonna focus on the cheat sheet. I just want to check this because I've tried this before. Um, yeah. So it's kind of really, it's such a nice app actually, I won't lie. So I'm just gonna use this to study. So yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start with the rules of the road. Okay, so in terms of these, what I'm gonna do is since there are 30 like subsections, there are 30 subsections, I'm gonna try to do maybe let's say 5 today and maybe how many of this is there? 19. Okay. Okay. I think I'll just try to do as we go. I'm not gonna try to put a lot of pressure because I feel like once you put a lot of pressure in yourself, you end up not doing much. Okay, so today I'm just gonna try to tell myself that I'm just gonna do maybe 5 of this and then check some of the rules of the road, okay? Then we just do it nice and lightly for ourselves, just don't put so much pressure and then we're good to go. Okay. So, and also, I think also not rushing it and just try to understand what's going on is honestly key. And also just to save money as well. So, yeah. So, the first one is driving rules. Okay. So, one is the most important rule is to keep as far to the left of the road as possible. Okay, we understand that. So, we know that when you're on the road, we need to make sure that we're on the left. Okay, that makes sense. Then the next thing is you must not disobey any road traffic rules, traffic sign or rule of the road unless ordered to by a traffic officer. Okay, that makes sense. So you're not allowed to disobey the rules of the road unless a traffic officer tells you to do so. Next thing is you may not permit any person, animal, or object to occupy any position in or on such a vehicle which may prevent the driver thereof from exercising complete control over the movement of the vehicle. So you cannot allow a person or an animal or any object to obstruct you as the driver or it be in a way that obstructs you from driving properly, basically. Yeah, the car now. Okay, 4 is not allowed when driving such a vehicle to permit any person to take hold of or interfere with the steering or operating mechanism of the vehicle. So basically, when you're in the car, do not allow a person to obstruct you from driving, basically. Okay, that makes sense. 5, not allowed when driving such a vehicle to occupy a position that he or she does not have complete control over the vehicle or does not have a full view of the roadway and the traffic ahead of such a vehicle. So you're not allowed to be seated or be in a position where when you are like trying to drive, you do not have complete control over the vehicle. Okay. Yeah, and you don't have full view and you're not able to see the road. So you need to be able to see the road and you need to be able to be fully functional and actually be able to drive, basically. Okay. 6, not allowed that any portion of his or her body to protrude beyond such a vehicle while it is in motion on such a road except for the purpose of giving any hand signals. Okay, so not allowed. So basically, don't have any body part of yourself to be outside of the vehicle. Everything, you and yourself, and everything that has to do with you needs to be inside of the car. Okay. 7. Not allowed to permit any person or animal to occupy the roof, any step or running board, or any place on top of the vehicle while the vehicle is in motion. So basically, nothing on the sunroof, nothing on the roof of the car. Don't put anything. Not allowed to drive, pull, or push a vehicle upon a sidewalk. So you're not allowed to drive on the side, push or pull a vehicle on the sidewalk. So basically, this is the road, right? And then there is the sidewalk. So that's where everyone else. So you're not allowed, as the car, you're not allowed to come on the side, right? You're not allowed to drive, push or pull on the sidewalk. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now let's check some of the questions. Okay, so when may you have parts of your body protruding beyond the vehicle? When hand signs are being given by the driver. When may you have parts of your body protruding? So when you are trying to do like hand signs, that's when you are actually allowed, okay? 2, when may a vehicle be moved along a sidewalk? Never. You're not allowed to have a vehicle moving along the sidewalk. Which rule is considered the most important rule of the road is to keep far as to the left as possible. Okay. In South Africa, which is considered to be the most important rule of the road? Always be polite and cautious to the road users. Do not exceed the speed limit. Keep to the left hand side of the road as far as possible. 3 is to keep to the left hand side of the road as far as possible. A driver of a vehicle or a rider can disobey any road traffic sign or rule of the road if ordered to do so by the traffic officer. If he feels like it, he isn't under the influence. Ordered by the traffic officer. When may you have parts of your body protruding beyond your vehicle? Never. When hand signs are being given by the driver. When signals for a traffic officer. B. You understand why. When may a vehicle be moved alongside a sidewalk? Never. When is it okay to disobey a road sign? A, if it's safe to do so. B, when the traffic officer orders you to do so. When the traffic officer orders you to do so. Which rule is considered to be the most important rule to keep far as left as possible? What's the most important rule of the road is to keep to the left of the road. Okay, we understand that. Okay, vehicle rules. Okay, may not be used on a public road unless all parts of the steering are maintained in a condition which enables the vehicle to be steered safely and efficiently. May not be used on a public road unless all parts of the steering are maintained in a condition which enables the vehicle to be steered safely and efficiently. So you're not allowed to drive a vehicle that does not have a steering wheel that works properly. Okay? May not be used on a public road if the turning radius of a vehicle exceeds 13.1. So which means when you this is your car, right? Because this is a circle, this is this is a diameter, and this is a radius, right? This is a radius. So which basically means you may not be used on a public if the turning radius of such vehicle exceeds 13.1 meters. So which means if your radius when you turn like this part is more than 13.1, you're not allowed to be on the road, basically. A light motor vehicle must be fitted with pneumatic tires, right? Which display throughout across the breadth and across the entire circumference a pattern which clearly visible and has a tread of at least 1 millimeter in depth. Okay, so it needs to be 1 millimeter in depth. Light and heavy motor vehicle used on a public road must be equipped with a service brake, parking brake, and emergency brake. So you need to remember that the pneumatic tires the thread needs to be 1 meters, right? The turning radius not more than 13.1. The other thing is a light and a heavy motor vehicle needs to have 3 brakes: service brake, a parking brake, and an emergency brake. Okay. Not allowed on a vehicle to remain unattended on a road without setting its brakes or adopting such other method that will effectively prevent the vehicle from moving from a position in which it is left. Not allowed a vehicle to remain unattended on a road without setting its brakes or adopting such a method that will effectively prevent the vehicle from moving from the position. Okay, so basically you're not allowed to leave a vehicle unattended on the road, right? And you need to ensure that it has brakes. It needs to have brakes. Yeah? The brakes needs to be like on so that the vehicle does not move. Okay. A light and heavy motor vehicle may not be used on a public road unless the engine thereof is covered and is not a source of danger. So the engine needs to be covered and it must not be a source of danger. Not allowed to cause not allowed to cause or allow the engine to run without the motor vehicle is stationary. So you need to remember the engine needs to be covered, otherwise there's going to be danger. The returning radius needs to be 13.1. The pneumatic tires, the thread needs to be 1 millimeters. You're not allowed to drive on the sidewalk. And the 3 brakes that a car has is a service brake, emergency brake, and a parking brake. And also, when you park your car, you need to ensure that when you park your car, you need to ensure that it does not move where it's at, and also you need to ensure that it doesn't move where it's at, and that there are brakes that are set in place. And then the other thing is that you need to ensure that the engine is covered. And then not allowed to cause not allowed to negligently or willfully deposit any petrol or other liquid fuel or any oil or grease or other flammable or offensive matter, ashes or other refuse of whatever nature for such vehicle alongside the road. So you're not allowed to throw any oils and stuff on the road. Okay, you're not allowed to do that, or anything that burns or whatever. Not allowed to cause or allow the engine thereof to run while petrol or flammable fuel is being delivered in the fuel tank. So basically, whenever you're at the garage and they're throwing oil, don't put your engine on. Your engine should be off, otherwise it's gonna burn. A motor vehicle which is designed for or capable of reaching a speed of 60 kilometers must be equipped with a speedometer which is in a good working order. Okay, so a vehicle that is capable of reaching a speed of 60 meters or more needs to have a speedometer. Okay. What is the minimum tie thread depth? 1 millimeter, right? The thread, 1 millimeter. The thread, 1 millimeter. An unattended vehicle must be turned on. Parking lights, no. Must be locked, must have a handbrake applied. There must be a handbrake applied. Vehicle 1 millimeter. You may not drive on a public road if the turning radius is more than 13.1. You may leave your engine running while the motorcycle is stationary and unattended. No, you're not allowed to do that. What is the maximum turning radius? 13.1. The thread 1 millimeters. An unattended vehicle must have a handbrake applied. Minimum required tire thread for life is 1 millimeter. The minimum required tire thread for light motor vehicle is 1 millimeter. A motor vehicle which is designed for or capable of reaching a speed of 60 or more must be equipped with a speedometer which is in good working condition. Okay. Following distance. Okay. Maintain a minimum of 2 seconds for light motor vehicles and 3 seconds for heavy motor vehicles. Under adverse conditions such as rain, slippery surface, poor visibility, or when being followed too closely, the following distance shall be increased. Okay, if the robot is flashing red, which of the following are appropriate? Come to complete stop, take off when safe to do so. Um, Keeping a safe following distance means if the car in front stops suddenly, you can stop safely behind it. Okay, a safe following distance is at least 2 second gap between you and the vehicle ahead of you. A safe following distance is when the vehicle in front of you suddenly stops. You could stop without swerving. Okay. A safe following distance is when the vehicle in front of you suddenly stops and you could stop without swerving. So, a safe following distance when the vehicle in front of you suddenly stops and you can stop without swerving. A safe following distance at all distance at a safe following distance at all speeds for motorcycles and light motor vehicle is 2 seconds. In which of these conditions would you need extra following distance? A and C. Okay. When driving on a slippery road, when following a truck or vehicles pulling, that's when you will need extra following distance. Okay, we're almost there. Beam lamps. Main beam distance of at least 100. So the main beam is 100, the dip beam is 45. May not drive on a public road with parking lights lit while such a vehicle is in motion. So the public road, you cannot drive while your parking light is on. Parking lights are when you are parked. Must have lamps at the rear emitting a red lit light to the rear. Okay. Stop lamps is visible in normal sunlight at a distance of not less than 30 meters to the person of the normal eyesight. So main beam is 100, dip beam is 45. May not drive on a public road with the parking lamp lit while such vehicle is in motion. Must have lamps at the rear, emitting a red light to the rear. Stop lamps visible in normal sunlight at a distance of at least less than 30 meters to a person of normal eyesight. No vehicle may be driven on a public road while any fog lamp fitted to such vehicle is lit, except in conditions of poor visibility caused by snow, fog, mist, dust, or smoke. Okay, so let's try again. Stop lamps visible in normal eyesight at a distance not less than 30 meters to a person of normal eyesight. Okay? No vehicle may be driven on a public road while any fog lamp fitted to such vehicle is lit except in conditions of poor visibility caused by snow, fog, mist, or dust. So fog lamp is for poor conditions, poor visible. Okay. May not be used. 7 is may not be used vehicle on a public road if it is fitted with a spot lamp unless the vehicle is for official purpose of ambulance, rescue vehicle, firefighting vehicle, police vehicle, or traffic control vehicle. A medic practitioner or veterinarian and used for professional duties only. A breakdown vehicle or vehicle employed in connection with the supply of electricity or other public essential services provided that it's used solely at the scene of accident or breakdown or for examination of overhead telephone, telegraph, or power lines. Okay, the lights of your vehicle when parked on a public road between sunset and sunrise need not to be kept lit when the vehicle is parking. So the lights of your vehicle when parked on a public road between sunset and sunrise need not be kept lit when the vehicle is next to the road of next to the road of the road next to the roadway of the road in a demarcated parking area 10 meters from the light street lamp pole. Okay. In which case is it permitted to travel with only the parking lights of your vehicle switched on when driving in a heavy rain? when dusk is falling, when driving in snow. That's the parking lamp. This is for the fog lamps, not the parking lamps. The lights of your vehicle parked on a public road between sunset and sunrise need not to be kept lit when the vehicle is parked 10 meters from the road. 10 meters from a light street lamp next to the roadway of the road in a demarcated parking area. So you just need to remember that between sunset and sunrise, the lights of your vehicle parked on a public road between sunsets need not to be kept lit between 10 meters from the street lamp. So if you think of street lamp, you need to think of 10. So I'm going to draw a street lamp now. I'm going to draw a street lamp. So it's 10, yeah? Next to the roadway of the road. So here's the roadway in a demarcated parking area. Demarcated parking area. So the lights of your vehicle parked on a public road between sunset and sunrise need not to be kept light. So the lights of your vehicle. So if I have a vehicle and the lights are on, right, on a public road, it must not be on if I'm 10 meters away from the roadway. If I'm if I'm 10 meters away from the street lamp, right? If I'm in a demarcated parking area, if I'm in the roadway of the road, right? When should the vehicle's headlamps be kept on? The headlamps during the day, between sunset and sunrise, when the road is not visible from 150 meters ahead. So it's the first two, during daytime, sunset and sunrise. Okay. At what distance should the main beam brighten objects? 100 meters away. Okay. Main beam is 100. 45 is the dip beam. The dip beam is 45. What are the rules regarding a stop lamp? So a stop lamp, what did they say? 1 and 3. Must be visible at least 30 meters. If your vehicle does not have a stop lamp, then it's not allowed on the public road. Okay. So the first three can basically stop or park anywhere. That's because they are public service vehicles. You may not keep the parking lamp of your vehicle lit when you are parking within 12 meters from a light street illuminating the road. But didn't they say in the previous question 10? Why is it 12 now? I think it's more than 10. I think within 10 is still fine, but if it's more than 10, then you're not allowed. Okay, a vehicle main beam is always 10. No, what is this? Yeah, it's 100. I'm just confusing. That's 100. Main beam is 100. Dip beam is 45. When should you dip the main beam of your vehicle? For oncoming and when following another vehicle. So you only put on your dip beam for upcoming and for following another vehicle. Which of the following vehicles must be switched on when traveling at night through a city center? The dip beam. Okay. When you apply the brakes of your vehicle, it should emit a red light, which must be brighter than that of a lighter emitted. When you apply the brakes of your vehicle, it should emit a red light which must be brighter than the light emitted by the rear and must be visible in normal sunlight at a distance of by a person of normal eyesight. 13. When a stop lamp is illuminated, this indicates that it's decreasing speed and it may stop. Which of the following vehicles may be fitted with adjustable spot lamps? Spot lamps, remember, there's spot and stop. Spot lamps is for public services. Stop lamp is for all cars. Okay. That's why the one at the bottom is not chosen. The lights of your vehicle parked on a public, as we said, is 10 meters from light street lamp next to the roadway of the road and a demarcated parking area. Your thingy needs to not be switched on. When you're applying the brakes of your vehicle, it should emit a red light, which must be brighter than of the light emitted by the rear lamp and must be visible in normal eyesight for 30 meters by a person of normal eyesight. No vehicle may be driven on a public road while any fog lamp fitted to such vehicle is lit except in certain conditions. Okay, why? So what do we talk fog lamps? For fog lamps is mainly for snow, fog and mist, dust, smoke, heavy rain, storm, anytime if you want to see better. So it's not about that heavy rainstorm. I wonder why that's not chosen. But those are unfavorable conditions. But yeah. Okay, cool. 5. Let's do number 5 and then we call it a day. May not drive a motor vehicle on a public road unless it's fitted with at least one number plate at the rear. Okay, every letter and figure must be visible at least 20 meters by a person of normal eyesight. Approved number plate shall be in such a manner that it's not easily detachable. Upright 30 degrees, so it must be 20 meters visible, 30 degrees upright, in such a manner that each letter and figure thereon is clearly legible, in such a manner that the whole number plate is clearly visible to the back of the motor vehicle, motor tricycle or trailer, one of the back and one to the front of all the motor vehicles. Okay. So it needs to be 30 degrees upright and must not be detachable. All vehicles on public road must have a number plate that has a clear letters from 20 meters. The number plates of a vehicle should correspond with the vehicle license disc. An SAP approved shall be 30 degrees and non-detachable. SAP approved shall be fixed to a vehicle 30 degrees upright and not easily detachable. When stop lamp is illuminated, this indicates that the vehicle is decreasing speed and may stop. Okay, so when you switch on your stop lamp, that means that you are about to slow down and you are gonna stop your car. Okay, with how many number plates must a light and heavy motor vehicle post? So you must have one fitted to the front and one fitted to the back of your vehicle. Okay, so we're done with number 5. So we're going to continue the others. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you like my video and I hope that we complete this challenge and we get this learners. Yippee. Bye.